The icy wind tore across the barren landscape, rattling the thin shelter that a small alien girl clutched for warmth. Her pet, a furry creature with big glowing eyes, shivered beside her, its tiny body pressed close to hers for comfort. The snow had been falling for hours, thicker and heavier than any storm she had seen before, and the temperature kept dropping, threatening to freeze her tiny fingers and toes. She hugged her pet tightly, whispering soft words that barely carried over the howling wind. "We'll survive, don't worry," she said. Though even she doubted it, her small eyes scanned the horizon, looking for anything that could save them. A hint of shelter, a shadow of a ship, anything. But the world was white and empty. Cold and merciless, her stomach growled, reminding her that hunger was as dangerous as the cold. She had been on the move for days, escaping from people who wanted to capture her for their experiments. And now, the storm had trapped her in the middle of the frozen plains. Her pet whimpered softly, curling closer, and she felt a wave of despair crash over her. Suddenly a faint glimmer appeared in the distance, a soft light cutting through the endless white. She squinted, shielding her eyes from the snow. Unsure if it was real or just a trick her tired mind was playing, hope sparked inside her, fragile but alive. Could it be a human coming to help? Or just another danger hiding in plain sight? She whispered to her pet, "Stay close. We might have a chance." Her fingers were numb, but she managed to get to her feet, holding her pet against her chest, ready to run if needed. The snow made every step hard, her legs trembling, but the light grew brighter, a steady pulse that seemed almost alive. Calling to them, then she heard it. A low hum in the distance, mechanical but gentle. Not like the men chasing her. Something was moving toward them, cutting through the storm with a precision that seemed impossible. She froze, unsure whether to run or stay, her heart pounding so loudly she feared it might give away their position. The light approached faster, and soon a tall figure emerged, wrapped in a strange suit that glowed faintly. Its face was hidden behind a helmet, but the warmth radiating from it made her feel safer than she had in days. "Hey, are you okay?" A calm voice called, muffled by the wind but unmistakable. She couldn't speak, too cold, too tired, and the fear made her body stiff. The stranger knelt carefully, reaching out a hand covered in a protective glove. "It's all right, I've got you," the voice repeated, more insistently this time. The alien pet hissed at first, unsure of the newcomer, but the stranger spoke softly to it too, and slowly, it relaxed, curling into her arms again. The human lifted them both, carrying them to a hovering vehicle parked in the snow. Its surface shimmered with strange technology, shielding them from the storm instantly. She gasped as warmth began to seep into her frozen body, her pet snuggling closer, and for the first time in days she felt safe. But as the human started the craft, the girl's mind raced, questions piling up faster than the snow had fallen. Who was this human? Why had they come here? Were they truly helping, or was this another trap? The glowing eyes of her pet met hers, and in that moment, they both understood they had no choice but to trust, at least for now. The storm raged outside, but inside the craft the warmth wrapped around them like a protective cocoon. The human glanced at her, then at the pet. "We'll get you somewhere safe," they promised. Their voice held authority but also kindness, a rare combination in a universe that had taught her only fear. As the craft lifted into the sky, leaving the frozen plains behind, the girl clutched her pet tighter, staring out at the storm below, knowing that their lives had changed forever. Somewhere out there, adventure, danger, and mysteries awaited, and somehow, against all odds, they had survived the first test. The human piloted the craft with skill that amazed her, weaving through the remnants of the storm, and as the alien girl watched the world shrink below them, she realized that this was only the beginning. Her heart was still pounding, but now with curiosity instead of pure fear. What lay ahead in this vast galaxy? And could a human really be the one to save them both? The storm faded behind them, replaced by the endless stars of space, and for the first time, she allowed herself to hope. The craft hummed softly, carrying the alien girl and her pet through the endless black of space. Stars streaked past like tiny shards of light, and the storm below was nothing more than a distant memory. Yet inside her mind raced with questions, and a feeling she had never felt before, curiosity. The human who had saved them sat across from her, fingers resting on strange controls that glowed faintly in the dim light. The helmet hid their face, but their posture was calm and confident, and every movement spoke of experience. The girl hugged her pet closer, feeling its soft fur against her cheek, the warmth a strange but comforting sensation. "Why did you come for us?" she finally whispered, her voice trembling from both cold and fear. The human didn't answer immediately, instead adjusting the craft's path, weaving smoothly through a cluster of floating ice asteroids. The pet hissed nervously, sensing the tension. But the human simply spoke softly. "Not everyone in the galaxy wants to hurt you." The alien girl blinked. Unsure if she should believe those words, her people had taught her to trust no one, and every step she had taken since escaping danger had reinforced that lesson. Yet something in the human's voice made her want to believe, even if just a little. The craft shuddered as it passed through a magnetic storm, forcing the girl to grip the edge of her seat. Her pet squeaked and burrowed deeper into her arms, its glowing eyes scanning the craft like it could sense threats she could not. The human adjusted the shields with precise movements, muttering something under their breath, and the storm passed as suddenly as it had arrived. Leaving an eerie calm for the first time, the girl dared to look around, noticing symbols etched into the walls of the craft. Alien scripts intertwined with human markings. Glowing faintly like they had a life of their own, she traced a finger along the closest line, feeling a strange vibration beneath her touch. "Curious, aren't you?" the human said suddenly, turning slightly, their voice calm but with a hint of amusement. The girl froze, realizing the human had noticed her, but before she could answer, the craft's alarm blared, red lights flashing. "Alert! Approaching object detected," the machine announced. The girl's heart raced, the fear from the frozen plains returning in full force. The human's gloved hands moved rapidly, adjusting controls, shielding panels, and scanning the approaching object. "It's not hostile." "Yet," the human murmured, eyes narrowing behind the helmet. "But we need to be careful." Outside, a massive shadow appeared. Moving against the backdrop of distant stars, the girl's pet growled softly, sensing danger, and she tightened her hold. "What is that?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. The human's hands didn't stop moving. "An interceptor, likely sent to capture me," they explained. "Or maybe to test who I've saved." Fear twisted her stomach, but also something else. Determination. She had survived storms, hunger, and fear, and now she wouldn't back down. Not when she had a chance to learn, to understand, and maybe even to help. The human noticed her resolve, and for a moment, the craft was quiet except for the hum of the engines. The shadow grew larger, and suddenly the craft jolted as a tractor beam shot toward them, pulling them in like a spider catching its prey. The girl clutched her pet tightly, panic rising. The human leaned forward, pressing controls with rapid precision. "Hold on," they shouted, voice carrying authority and urgency. The craft twisted, dodging the beam by a fraction of a second, and the girl felt the force of acceleration pushing her back into her seat. Her pet squeaked in surprise, clinging to her even tighter. The human's voice guided her. "Brace yourself, it's going to get rough." The craft darted sideways, weaving through a debris field left by ancient starships. The shadows of broken metal and twisted machinery passed like ghosts of battles long ago. The girl's eyes widened, part awe, part terror. Her pet's tiny body shook, but it didn't make a sound, trusting her as much as she trusted the human. Then, almost as suddenly as it had begun, the chase ended. The craft emerged into open space, the interceptor far behind. Unable to catch them, the human exhaled slowly. "That was close," they said, finally turning to look at her. "But we're not safe yet." The alien girl studied them carefully, trying to read their eyes behind the visor, and wondered what kind of human had the skill to survive the frozen plains and then evade a hunter in space. She whispered to her pet, "We're lucky, aren't we?" And the creature nuzzled her hand in response. The human spoke again, softer this time, almost like a secret. "Not luck. Preparation, skill, and a little faith." The girl tilted her head, curiosity sparking. "Faith?" she asked, and the human nodded. "Faith that the galaxy has people who fight for the innocent like you." Her heart pounded, a mixture of relief and wonder, and for the first time, she felt the tiniest spark of hope, but deep down, she knew the journey had only just begun. There were mysteries, dangers, and allies waiting, and her story with this human was far from over. As the craft sailed through the stars, the girl hugged her pet again, feeling warmth, safety, and something new, possibility. The universe stretched before them, vast, unknown, and full of secrets, and she realized that surviving the frozen plains was just the first step. Somewhere out there, adventure awaited, and perhaps the human beside her could teach her not only to survive, but to thrive. The stars whispered promises of challenges and triumphs, and she was ready. The craft moved silently through the void, gliding past constellations that glittered like shards of crystal. The alien girl pressed her forehead against the cold glass. Her pet curled tightly against her chest, watching the endless stars pass. Their journey was peaceful for the moment, but both of them knew calm was fragile in this galaxy. The human beside them worked at the controls, fingers moving with precision, the glow of the console reflecting off the helmet. Occasionally they would glance at the girl and her pet, studying them as if reading their thoughts. "We need to reach the safe zone," the human said, voice calm. "It's a station far from known patrols." "But it's still risky. Why are we running?" the girl asked, her voice small. "Who is after you?" The human paused, then leaned back. "Enemies. And allies who became enemies. Sometimes the lines blur." Their words were cryptic, but the girl sensed truth in them. Every word hinted at a galaxy more dangerous than she could have imagined. The pet made a soft noise, nuzzling her hand as if sensing her worry. She whispered back, "I know. We have to be careful." The human nodded slightly, then touched a panel that lit up with hundreds of moving points. "Most of these are patrols. Some look for fugitives like me, others, anyone who seems different." Her stomach twisted, and she realized that she and her pet were different, too. Strange alien markings on her skin, the unusual glow of her pet's eyes. They had always made her special, but now it felt like a target. She tightened her grip on the furry creature, heart pounding. Suddenly, a shadow loomed outside the viewport, massive and silent. The stars behind it vanished as it passed, casting a dark silhouette. The girl gasped, pulling her pet closer. "What is that?" The human's hands didn't stop moving, adjusting the shields and scanning the mass. "A stealth ship. Advanced, likely hired to intercept," they muttered. Panic surged, but the human remained calm, directing the craft into a hidden path. Weaving between asteroids, remnants of ancient battles floating silently. The girl's eyes widened as they passed through twisted metal debris, imagining the stories those ruins held. Her pet growled softly, sensing the danger that her eyes could not fully see. The shadow ship followed, adjusting its trajectory with unnatural speed. "They can't detect us easily, but they are persistent," the human said, voice low. "We need to hide, temporarily." The girl watched as they entered a dense asteroid field, the craft maneuvering with skill that seemed almost impossible. Her fear was tempered by awe. She whispered to her pet, "He's really strong, really brave," and the creature nuzzled her in response, understanding her words more than she expected. The human noticed, glancing briefly at them, and for a moment the tension softened. "You're learning quickly. Observation will keep you alive." The asteroid field was dark and dangerous, shadows shifting like living things. Every turn of the craft was a gamble. The girl felt her pulse race with every near collision. The pet squeaked softly as the craft dodged a spinning piece of metal, and she held it tighter, murmuring reassurance. Then the craft dropped into a small cavern, hidden behind a giant asteroid, its interior dark but empty. "We'll stay here for a few hours," the human said, cutting power to lower their energy signature. The stars outside disappeared, leaving them in an artificial night. The girl's heart slowly calmed, but fear lingered inside the cave. Silence fell, broken only by the faint hum of the craft. The girl finally spoke. "Why do they want you? Why would anyone follow you so far?" The human's hands rested on their knees, helmet tilted toward her. "Because I carry information, secrets that could change worlds, and some will kill to get it." The girl shivered, hugging her pet tighter, understanding for the first time that the galaxy was larger, darker, and more dangerous than she had ever imagined. "And us?" she whispered. "Why did you save us?" The human looked at her through the visor, voice soft. "Because even in darkness, someone has to protect the innocent." Her mind struggled to comprehend, the weight of survival pressing down, but a spark of something new flickered. Hope, courage, trust. The pet's warm body pressed against hers, reminding her that she wasn't alone, that even in a galaxy full of danger, there could be someone to rely on. Outside, the shadow ship waited, patient and silent, but for now, they were hidden, alive and preparing. The human adjusted the controls, whispering to the craft, "We'll leave before dawn, and they won't expect this path." The girl nodded, determination rising inside her. Her adventure, her survival, her chance to fight and learn had only just begun. The stars outside seemed to shimmer with promise, A galaxy full of challenges, allies, enemies, and secrets waiting to be discovered. And she realized, hugging her pet once more, that with this human she might just survive, thrive, and maybe even change the course of her fate. Dawn would never come in the void of space, but inside the hidden cavern, the alien girl and her pet felt the craft's soft glow like a small sun. The human worked silently, adjusting instruments, plotting a course through uncharted sectors. The girl hugged her pet close, their warmth the only comfort against the cold metal and vast darkness outside. She had begun to notice the way the human moved, calm, precise, every gesture intentional, and for the first time, she wondered who this person had been before they became a traveler, a protector. "Where are we going?" she asked softly, curiosity blending with caution. "Somewhere safe, for now," the human replied, voice steady but vague. "A station hidden from the eyes of those who hunt." The alien girl shivered, not from cold but from the thought of leaving the frozen plains and plunging deeper into unknown dangers. Yet the human's presence was a shield, a promise that she and her pet were not alone. The pet's glowing eyes flickered nervously, sensing the tension in her thoughts, and she stroked its fur, whispering, "It's okay. We're together." Hours passed in silence, broken only by the hum of the craft, until suddenly, the display lit up with a new signal, faint but unmistakable. "We're being scanned," the human said, hands flying over controls. "Small ships. Fast, but not many." Their voice held calm authority, but the girl felt her pulse quicken. The stars outside seemed to dance as the craft dodged sensors, slipping between cosmic debris and asteroid shadows. Every movement was calculated, each second a chance to survive. The alien girl's stomach twisted with fear and awe. "How do you do it?" she whispered. "How do you always know?" The human glanced at her briefly. "Experience. And knowing who to trust," they said, eyes hidden behind the visor. Suddenly, a beam of light flared from the scanners, hitting the craft. The alarm screamed. Red lights flashing. The pet yelped softly, curling closer, and the girl's fingers trembled as she clutched it. "Hold on!" the human shouted, twisting the craft sharply, dodging the beam by mere meters. A group of small ships emerged from the shadows, sleek and silent, their shapes unfamiliar, advanced technology deadly intent. The human muttered a curse under their breath. "They won't give up. We have to reach the station fast," the girl nodded, determination replacing some of her fear. "Then let's go," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. The chase was swift and tense. Weaving through the asteroid fields, the ships followed relentlessly, their engines cutting through space with quiet menace. The girl clutched her pet, feeling its heart race against hers. The human's hands were a blur, adjusting controls, shields and engines, almost there. "Just a little further," they said, voice calm but firm. At last, a dark silhouette appeared ahead, massive and floating silently among the stars. "The station," the human said softly, almost in relief. It was hidden in the shadow of a dead planet, camouflaged perfectly against the void. The alien girl stared, awe mixing with disbelief. "It's huge," she breathed, her pet's eyes reflecting the dim lights. The craft glided inside the station's outer ring, slipping past sensors and docking silently. The human's hands moved expertly, shutting down the engines and engaging the shields. The girl exhaled, finally allowing herself a moment of calm. Hugging her pet tighter, she whispered, "We made it." "We're safe," but the station was quiet. Too quiet. The air inside hummed softly, controlled and sterile. Strange lights traced the corridors like veins, and distant sounds echoed, hinting at hidden life. "Stay close," the human warned, unbuckling from the pilot's seat. Their voice held authority and caution, a reminder that danger was never far. The alien girl followed, her pet clinging to her shoulder. The hallways were empty, yet shadows shifted as if alive. The human led them to a small chamber with soft lighting. "Rest here for a while," they said. "We can't stay long, but it's enough to recover." She finally looked at the human closely, noticing details she hadn't before, the subtle scars on the gloves, the way they moved with both grace and caution. It was clear they had faced danger before, survived and learned to trust only a few. Her pet purred softly, sensing the safety, and she let herself relax a little. But even as she settled, questions filled her mind. Who were these enemies chasing them? What secrets did this human carry? Could she truly trust someone from another world? And most of all, what awaited them beyond this hidden station? The human seemed to read her thoughts, adjusting the console and saying, The galaxy is full of shadows, and sometimes you have to step into them to survive. The alien girl hugged her pet again, feeling warmth, courage, and a strange sense of hope. The stars outside whispered of adventures, dangers, and mysteries, and for the first time, she realized that survival was only the beginning. Somewhere in the galaxy, their story was just beginning, and the hidden station was only the first chapter. The hidden station was quiet. Almost too quiet, the alien girl hugged her pet, feeling its tiny body tremble slightly. The soft hum of the station filled the silence, a gentle reminder that they were safe, at least for now. The human moved through the corridors with confidence, every step precise, eyes scanning for any sign of danger. "Why is it so empty?" the girl asked, her voice low, curiosity and unease mixing. The human paused, glancing back. "It's a station for those who want to remain unseen, but even here, shadows exist." They gestured to a row of surveillance panels showing dark corridors and far rooms, some empty, others flickering with faint movement. The girl's heart raced as she watched. The pet squeaked softly, sensing her tension, pressing against her chest. The human adjusted a few controls, whispering, "Stay close. Don't make sudden movements." Their voice carried authority, but also something softer, a promise of protection. Suddenly, one of the monitors flashed red, an alert pinging softly. The human's head snapped to it, eyes narrowing behind the helmet. "Intruders," they said, voice calm but urgent. "They found us sooner than expected." Panic surged through the girl, but the human remained steady, moving with purpose toward the nearest exit. "We have to secure the station," they said, "and keep you and your pet safe." The girl nodded, determination replacing fear. Hugging her pet closer, she whispered, "I'll be ready." The first intruder appeared moments later, stepping silently from the shadows of the corridor, a tall figure clad in dark armor, technology glowing faintly along the edges. The alien girl froze, heart pounding, her pet growling softly, warning her of the danger. The human stepped forward, hands raised, not to strike but to command. "You don't belong here," they said firmly. Voice echoing slightly in the hallway, the intruder paused, then advanced slowly. "I'm just following orders," it said. Voice cold, mechanical, almost devoid of life. The girl's stomach twisted, realizing that these enemies didn't hesitate, didn't feel mercy. The pet hissed, a low sound that filled the space between them. The human moved closer to shield her. "Orders don't excuse cruelty," they said calmly, tone hardening. The intruder lunged, and the human reacted instantly, a blur of motion, dodging attacks while manipulating controls on the wall, activating defenses of the station. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the air crackled with energy as shields lit up, blocking the intruder's path. The alien girl's eyes widened as she watched, awe and fear mixing. The human was fast, precise, every movement a lesson in survival. She clutched her pet tightly, whispering reassurances. "It's okay. We can do this." The pet's eyes glowed brighter, sensing her courage, ready to fight if needed. The intruder paused, scanning the room, clearly assessing the human's strength. Then with a sudden burst, it split into two, moving with unnatural speed. A trick, a drone? The girl couldn't tell, and fear gripped her chest. The human's voice cut through the chaos, commanding the girl to stay back, get to the safe room. They pressed a hidden panel, opening a small chamber behind the wall. "Now!" The girl rushed inside, holding her pet close, feeling the walls close behind them, cutting off the intruder's path. Inside, the chamber was dark, cramped, but safe. The girl's pulse slowly returned to normal as she listened to the sounds of battle outside. Sparks, alarms, the hum of energy, and the occasional thud of impact. Her pet clung to her, but its glowing eyes never left the door. Alert, ready. Minutes passed, though it felt like hours, until finally the sounds faded. Leaving silence once more, the human emerged, slightly scuffed but alive. "They won't give up easily," they said, voice calm. "But we've bought some time." The girl looked at them with wide eyes, admiration and fear mixing. You're amazing," she whispered. The humans shook their head. "I'm just someone who refuses to let innocent lives end, and today, that includes you and your pet." The alien girl hugged her pet tighter, feeling warmth and courage for the first time. She realized that the galaxy was full of danger, yes, but also full of people who would fight for what was right. She whispered softly, "I want to be like that. Brave." The human smiled, though the visor hid it. "Then you will have to learn, and quickly." Outside, shadows moved among the halls, intruders regrouping, planning, watching. The hidden station was no longer completely safe, but the human had shown her a new way to survive. A path of courage, quick thinking, and trust. The alien girl hugged her pet again, feeling the warmth of life, protection, and hope. Even in the darkness, she knew that she would fight, learn and endure with the human beside her. She believed that the frozen plains and distant dangers were only the first steps of a much larger journey. The galaxy was vast, full of shadows and light, enemies and allies, and she had taken the first step into the unknown, ready to face whatever came next. The hidden station had given them a brief moment of safety, but the galaxy outside was alive with danger. The alien girl hugged her pet tightly, feeling its tiny body tremble with both fear and excitement. She had begun to understand that survival wasn't just about hiding, it was about moving, acting, and trusting the right people. The human stood before the control panel, scanning multiple readouts at once. "They've regrouped," they said. Voice calm but urgent. "Small ships, fast and silent but persistent. They won't give up until they find us." The girl's stomach twisted, a mixture of fear and determination filling her. Her pet squeaked softly as if agreeing with her thoughts. She whispered, "We have to keep moving." "We can't stay here," the human nodded, already adjusting the controls. "Good instinct, stay close, and follow my lead." The craft lifted silently from its hiding place, slipping through asteroid shadows and cosmic debris. The stars stretched into streaks as they accelerated, weaving through the void with incredible speed. The girl's heart raced as she clutched her pet. Both of them pressed close together, feeling the hum of the engines and the pull of the stars. Then the first ships appeared, shadowy forms emerging from behind asteroids, their engines silent. But the glow from their energy shields betrayed their position. "Engage evasive maneuvers," the human shouted, and the craft twisted sharply, narrowly avoiding a collision with one of the enemy ships. The alien girl held her breath, heart pounding, her pet pressing its tiny head against her chest. Sensing her fear, the human's movements were precise, calculated, a dance of survival among the stars. Each twist and turn of the craft brought them closer to safety, yet closer to danger at the same time. One of the ships fired a beam, slamming into the hull, sparks flying and alarms blaring. The girl yelped, clutching her pet tightly, as the human's hands moved in a blur, activating shields and twisting the craft away from the attack. "We need to lose them in the debris field," the human said. Voice steady, the craft weaved into a dense asteroid belt, massive rocks spinning in silence. Shadows moving like living creatures, the enemy ships followed. But their movements were slower, less precise, struggling against the chaos of the field. The girl felt a surge of hope, whispering to her pet, "We can do this." "Stay calm." But the chase was far from over. One ship broke formation, cutting through the field with terrifying speed, heading straight for them. Its energy beam struck a nearby asteroid, sending fragments flying toward the craft. The girl gasped, pressing her pet closer as the human twisted and dodged, narrowly avoiding the deadly fragments. "Hold on," the human shouted, voice carrying authority and urgency. Each second was a test of reflexes, courage, and trust. The girl felt her pulse match the rhythm of the craft's movements, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Then unexpectedly, a massive shadow moved in the distance, another ship larger than the others, its hull glinting in the faint starlight. The human's eyes narrowed. "That's their leader," they said quietly, almost to themselves. "And it won't stop until we're destroyed." The alien girl swallowed hard, fear rising like a wave. Her pet whimpered softly. Sensing her tension, she whispered, "We can't let them catch us." "Can we?" The human glanced at her briefly. "We have to try, and we might need a little luck." The craft twisted again, diving between two massive asteroids, sparks flying as shields absorbed minor collisions. The enemy ships followed, relentless. The girl held her pet tightly, whispering encouragements. "We're strong. We can survive." The human activated a hidden panel, releasing small drones that created illusions, scattering lights and signals to confuse the pursuing ships. One by one, the enemy ships veered off, attacking false signals, while the human maneuvered the craft toward an uncharted path. For a moment, silence returned, the hum of the engines and the girl's quickened heartbeat filling the cabin. Her pet nestled against her. Exhausted but safe, the human exhaled slowly. "That bought us time, but they will return," they said, voice calm but warning. The alien girl looked at them, awe and admiration mixing with fear. You saved us again," she whispered. The humans shook their head. No. We saved each other. They paused, then added, and soon, you'll have to make choices that will matter. Choices that will define who you are. The girl hugged her pet again, feeling warmth, courage, and the weight of responsibility. The stars outside stretched endlessly, full of dangers, mysteries, and possibilities, and she realized that survival was only part of the journey. Trust, courage, and quick thinking would be just as important. The craft sailed deeper into the void, leaving the chasing ships behind for now, but the galaxy remained alive with shadows, waiting, watching, and testing them at every turn. And the alien girl knew that with her human companion and her pet by her side, she could face whatever challenges lay ahead. The first real test of courage had passed, but the journey was far from over. The galaxy was vast, full of light and darkness, allies and enemies, and she was ready to step further into the unknown. The craft moved through a quiet sector of space, the stars stretching endlessly outside like silver threads. The alien girl hugged her pet tightly, both of them exhausted but alive. After the chase through the asteroid fields and near-death encounters, she felt a mixture of relief, fear, and something new. Determination. The human piloted the craft with calm precision. Scanning the instruments for threats, their helmet hid their face, but the girl could sense a quiet intensity, a readiness for whatever came next. We're approaching the coordinates, the human said softly, voice steady. The place where decisions are made, choices that will matter. The girl's heart pounded, the weight of the journey pressing on her shoulders. Her pet squirmed slightly, sensing her tension, and she whispered, "We can do this." Together, the human glanced at her, eyes hidden but tone gentle. Yes, together. Suddenly, the craft's alarms blared, red lights flashing. "Incoming ships," the human said, voice calm but urgent. "More than before. They're organized now?" The girl's stomach twisted, but she gripped the controls beside the human, helping as best she could. Her pet's glowing eyes reflected the alarms. Ready to react, the first wave of ships attacked. Beams cutting through the void, sparks flew as the craft's shields flared. The human twisted and turned, weaving expertly through the onslaught. "Hold on," they shouted. The girl held her pet tightly, whispering, "We'll survive." "We have to." The craft dove toward a nearby planet, its surface covered in frozen plains and jagged cliffs, reminiscent of the one where the girl had first been lost. Memories of fear, hunger, and cold rushed back, but she pushed them aside. Focusing on the moment, focusing on survival, the ships pursued relentlessly, but the human had a plan. Activating a hidden cloaking device, and the craft vanished from sensors for a moment. The alien girl watched in awe, her pet nuzzling her hand. Sensing the change, then the human spoke. "This is the moment. A choice must be made." Their tone was serious, almost grave. "We can fight them here, but it will be dangerous. Or we can lead them into a trap, using their own strategy against them." The girl's mind raced. Fear tried to hold her back, but courage pushed forward. "We lead them into a trap," she said firmly, surprising even herself. The human nodded, a faint sound of approval in their voice. "Good. Courage will save lives, if we act wisely." Together they plotted a path, weaving the craft through canyons and cliffs, drawing the enemy ships into a narrow pass, where the shadows of the cliffs could be used to their advantage. The girl's hand shook slightly on the controls, but the human guided her, whispering instructions. "Now hold steady. Wait for the right moment." The enemy ships followed, confident and relentless, unaware of the trap. The craft twisted sharply, leading them into the narrow canyon, and then the human activated a series of hidden turrets along the cliffs, energy beams cutting off escape routes. The ships collided with the traps, shields failing one by one. The girl's pulse raced as she watched the battle unfold, her pet squeaking softly in alarm. The human's voice cut through the chaos. "Focus. We're not finished yet." Finally, the last ship broke formation, retreating. The alien girl exhaled, relief flooding her body. Hugging her pet tightly, she whispered, "We did it. We survived." The human nodded, glancing at her. "Yes. But remember, survival is just the first step." The girl's eyes widened, understanding dawning. "We have to keep helping others, like you helped us." The human's hands relaxed on the controls. "Yes, that is why courage matters, why choices matter." Their voice softened. "Even the smallest act of bravery can change the course of the galaxy." Outside, the stars seemed brighter now, as if acknowledging their victory. The girl hugged her pet again, feeling warmth, safety, and hope. For the first time, she realized that the universe, though vast and dangerous, could also be full of allies, heroes, and friends. The craft lifted into open space, leaving the planet behind, and the girl looked at the human, admiration and trust filling her heart. "I want to learn, to be brave, to help others," she said softly. The human's voice carried a quiet pride. "Then you will if you remember courage, wisdom, and trust," the pet purred softly, glowing faintly, sensing the bond between them. The galaxy stretched endlessly ahead, full of light, darkness, danger, and opportunity. And for the first time, the alien girl understood that survival wasn't just about escaping the storm or the hunters. It was about making choices, protecting the innocent, and standing brave in the face of impossible odds. As the craft sailed among the stars, she hugged her pet once more, feeling the warmth of life, the strength of courage, and the power of hope. The universe was vast, full of shadows and light, enemies and allies, challenges and victories, and she was ready. Ready to face it all. Somewhere in the galaxy, adventure awaited, mysteries yet to be solved, friends yet to be found, and enemies yet to test her. But now she knew she could face it, not as a frightened child, but as a survivor, a protector, and a hero in her own right. The craft disappeared into the black of space, carrying the alien girl, her pet, and the human who had saved them both. And with every passing star, they moved toward the next chapter, toward the next choice, toward the endless possibilities of the galaxy.